Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet plane, I'ma do it all for you.
Hey, what is up, trainers? PoGo Joel here, coming at you with another Nightmare Cup video. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on the dark types. So it is dark, psychic, and fighting, and we have the dark types. Again, a good group of Pokemon with a lot of diverse different sets you can bring in. So we do have our main pure dark types, but then there's a few off dark types that have different typings, and we're going to jump right into all of them. So hopefully you do enjoy this. If you find any of this information helpful, please drop a like, subscribe, and without further ado, trainers, let's get into the video. Up first, we have Spiritomb with an attack stat of 169, a defense of 199, stamina of 137. It is a ghost and dark type Pokemon. One of the only, if not the only ghost that does pop up in this cup. It is the only ghost that pops up, making it the real Nightmare Cup. So it's going to be resisting normal, psychic, fighting, and poison. Everything that you will see here in this cup with these different types of attacks. Its only weakness is to fairy. Spiritomb is a well-rounded Pokemon. The only way to receive Spiritomb was if you started the research task during the Halloween event. It was a Halloween research Pokemon, and if you had started that event research task, then you still have it and you can still complete it now. So if you did start it, go back, pay attention to your field research and see if you could still claim it. If you can't, then the only other way to get it is to trade it. And yes, it can be traded. So if you can set up maybe a lucky trade, that will help you a lot, because this is a very, very expensive Pokemon. The rare candies you're going to need to invest in this is a lot just to power it up. So if you can get it lucky, that will help you a lot. And the secondary charge move here is going to also cost you a lot. It's like 75,000 Stardust. So huge investment here for Spiritomb, but definitely worth it. It's not a Pokemon that you have to absolutely bring in, but if you have one and you do invest in powering it up, definitely use it in this cup. It's so worth it. If you had to only pick one move, oof, that's very difficult on my end. Because Ominous Wind gives you a 10% chance to boost it up, which did come out here in this video, or will come out. And then Shadow Ball just hits really hard. For the fast move, you do have to pick what you want to do, because it does have access to two different fast moves, but they're both dark fast moves. So the fast moves are Feint Attack or Sucker Punch. And it's really going to come down to what you decide to do, because if you want Feint Attack, that's going to do more damage. But if you select Sucker Punch, that's going to charge up your energy faster. So it's up to you. Are you going for a little bit more damage up front, or are you trying to build up that energy to fire off as many charge moves as you possibly can? I personally went with Sucker Punch. You definitely want to run Ominous Wind and Shadow Ball if you do unlock the secondary move. If you can only choose one, maybe Shadow Ball, I guess. Don't go for Shadow Sneak. It's just a very inferior version of Ominous Wind. Plus, you want that Ominous Wind with the boost chance. So definitely go with those moves there. Alrighty, so what you need to know about Spiritomb is it's definitely going to put a check and maybe even wall some of these Psychic type Pokemon, which you will see. It might have to worry about the Shadow Ball users. So for sure Hypno, this is a good interesting matchup. For sure Chimecho, maybe something like that. But Hypno would probably be the main one that it has to concern with. It goes toe to toe with the fighting type Pokemon. Just really comes down to shields, whether you get the boost or not. And then the dark type Pokemon, in its fellow dark typing, most of them get the slight edge over it. You'll have scenarios and one-offs where if you shield right, or given the right scenario when you come in, you can definitely win. But it's very interesting. You're gonna have to invest some shields if you do go up against a dark type. And then this is just all testing here, so you will see a little bit of different scenarios. We're just gonna make it go up a bunch of different stuff and see what we can do. So let's see, Shadow Ball puts in a little bit of work there, but you really have to just pay attention to the matchups and see what's working for you. most likely you're going to want to switch out if you can, if you're going up against another dark type. Spiritomb's not on your team really to handle those dark types. It's really here just to check the psychic types and to go toe to toe and put in some work, do some damage with those fighters. But if you do get stuck against some dark types, just pay attention. Look at Hyper Beam. Wow, not too crazy. Alrighty, so here we're going up against Murkrow, another option you will see here in the Nightmare Cup. I feel like Murkrow's a little squishy. You're gonna need to invest shields in it. So here we have Spiritomb and Murkrow going at it. But what I noticed about Murkrow is when those moves actually land, they do hurt you. So some important things to note here. Because of its typing being Ghost and Dark, it does put up a fight against the fighting type Pokemon, as mentioned before. But the matchup, and that's important, is Toxicroak, because Toxicroak usually destroys about almost any dark type. But with this matchup, it could actually go toe to toe with it and even beat it. And then the Ominous Wind boost does help out a lot. It's not super reliable, but when it does come up, OMG, you might want to shift your shielding over to it because it can definitely help out. And then let's see some of the other matchups here. It can beat with one shield Alolan Raichu, Xatu, beats Hitmonchan with one shield, and there's a lot of good matchups here for Spiritomb. It really just depends if you can invest in it and if it's worth bringing into your team. But definitely a great top choice here. And let's take a quick look against the Toxicroak, because I feel like Toxicroak is going to be very common in this one. So with that one move, we brought down a lot of Toxicroak's health. We're just testing here, so random shielding, and no shielding. We'll see all the little different scenarios pop up here and there. Alrighty, and we did farm. We have energy. We beat Toxicroak. Alright, Alolan Raichu comes out. We're going after Ominous Wind. Block, Ominous Wind again, and we got that boost. But oh, here we go. No shields with the boost, and we brought down that Hypno almost a half health, if you notice that there. Alrighty, another round of Toxicroak. That's what happens when a Mud Bomb hits you. And Ominous Wind, almost half that health. Great. And can we pull this off? We preserve it because we have the energy. We get off Ominous Wind because that was the first one that popped up. And we do win there. And Lucario, that should get us. Up next we have Drapion with an attack stat of 180, defense of 202, stamina of 172. It is a poison dark type. There are going to be a few of those that you can bring into this cup. It's going to be resisting dark, ghost, grass, poison, and psychic. Everything we're going to see in the meta. It's going to be weak to ground. And it does have access to Aqua Tail, Crunch. I would definitely recommend those two. The candy to get this can be a little difficult to get. If you only had to choose one, that's very difficult because you really do need the coverage. Aqua Tail is going to be super spammy, which is perfect for the shield baiting there. But if I only had Aqua Tail, I don't think I would bring it in. I like Crunch as the secondary move just because it's going to have great coverage against the Psychic type Pokemon. But you could also have Sludge Bomb as another charge move. Now that I think about it, if I could only pick one, if it was on a budget, I'd choose Crunch probably, just because you get more coverage, even though Aqua Tail does get there a lot faster. I don't know, I would maybe stay with Aqua Tail. They're both so good, and then Aqua Tail hits a lot of people for neutral damage. For the fast move, you have a few options. You can go Poison Sting, Infestation, or Bite. Personally, I like running Infestation just because it does charge up a lot faster. I do know Poison Sting's alright with the DPS. Bite is going to be alright if you want to be a stronger attacker towards those Psychic types. So it really just depends on your budget and your team composition. Personally, I would prefer Infestation just to charge up faster, and then rolling with Aqua Tail and Crunch. There's a lot of different things you can do with that. Definitely play around with it, see what you like. It does have some really great advantages, and definitely can put you in a good situation. There's some things you're gonna have to watch out for, and a lot of things do hit it with neutral damage pretty well, even though it's not very effective. That hurt. So there's a lot of things you need to look out for, but definitely worth a shot and trying out for your Nightmare Cup. Well, look who's back to play. From the Twilight Cup, we have Skuntank making its return in the Nightmare Cup as a Poison Dark Pokemon with an attack stat of 184, defense of 132, and a buffy stamina of 230. Resisting Dark, Ghost, Grass, Poison, Psychic, everything you're going to see in the meta, and only weak to Ground. So, you can do a few different things with this guy. So I was running Flamethrower, Sludge Bomb, and I had Poison Jab as the quick move. But you can do different things with it. You can use Bite if you want to wall more of the Psychic types. But instead of Sludge Bomb, I'd maybe most likely go with Crunch or just drop Flamethrower in general, but it really just depends what you're trying to do. I did like the wide coverage I get, but looks like the recommendations are going Poison Jab, Crunch, Flamethrower, so that might be the best option there. You're going to want Crunch to be more effective to those Psychic types. Skuntank's always been tanky, that's why it's a Skuntank. It's a really great option that you can bring in here. A good Dark type, just there's a few things you do have to watch out for, and I feel like a lot of these Poison Dark types get hit on neutral damage a lot. Even sometimes when they're resisted they get hit a lot. But here we go, Flamethrower, Shield, perfect. If you do consider bringing in Murkrow, it's a really great option. It's just a little squishy, so it's definitely a shield investment there. And then here we go. So this is the matchup that I would be paying more attention to. This would have been better if I had a actual Crunch that I could use, because then it would wall more of the Dark types and charge up faster than both of these two bar charge moves. Let's see here. We block Gyro Ball, and we're gonna go in with another Flamethrower. I just like the neutral damage that it does bring in, but you'll probably get more DPS off of the poison attack. So Skuntank, definitely a great option, and an option you might have already invested in. If you could only choose one move, I would definitely go with Crunch. You're going to be charging up faster and getting there, so definitely consider Skuntank. Making its return again, Alolan Muk, another Poison Dark type Pokemon with an attack stat of 190, defense of 172, a beefy stamina of 233, resisting Dark, Ghost, Grass, Poison, Psychic, weakens to Ground. So the only way you can get one of these is by trading either an Alolan Muk or Grimer down so you can get it. What does that mean? That means you cannot just hatch one of these and evolve it for the Great League. You have to trade someone and hope the IVs go down so you can get in that range. Luckily, I have done that a few times. If you want to save candies, do it as a Grimer and then check it on like Pokegenie or any IV calculators you have. You probably are going to want to run Snarl and Dark Pulse if you can only afford one move. If you can afford a second move, you can go with Sludge Wave if you wanted to be more of a closer with the big heavy hitting move, or you can go with Acid Spray. If you're not familiar with Acid Spray, what it does is it lowers the defense of that Pokemon. So you can, let's say for example, you charge up, you use Acid Spray, switch up your Pokemon, and whatever Pokemon has been Acid Sprayed is going to be a little extra squishy. So there's definitely some strategies you can use with the Alolan Muk. It really just depends on what you're going to do with it. If you can only go with one move, go with the dark moves. Acid Spray does take a lot to get there, so definitely up to you. Up next we have Shiftry with an attack of 200, a defense of 121, a stamina of 207. It's going to resist Psychic, Dark, Electric, Ghost, Grass, Ground, Water. Everything you're going to see here, it's going to be weak to Bug, Fairy, Fighting, Fire, Flying, Ice, Poison. Different types of these attacks will be in here for sure. So here we go. You're going to want Razor Leaf on this thing and Leaf Blade if you can only afford one move. If you can afford a second move, go with Foul Play. So I wasn't super familiar too much with Shiftry, but it is important to learn it because it's definitely something you're going to see here. Oh, here we go, Leaf Blade. Leaf Blade is a 3-bar charge move, so it's going to be Shiftry's fastest moveset. Razor Leaf is going to be doing a lot of neutral damage to different types of Pokemon, so definitely something to consider here in the Nightmare Cup. good luck with the Shiftry, Tree of Doom. Another great dark option is Alolan Raticate with attack 135, defense 154, stamina 181, a dark and normal type, resisting ghost, psychic, and dark. Look at those resistances there. But the big weakness here is a 4-time weakness to fighting. So it deals heavy neutral damage to a lot of Pokemon. You're definitely going to want to run Quick Attack, Crunch, and Hyper Fang. It's only 10,000 Stardust to unlock the secondary move, so definitely a great investment. It's going to wall all of the Psychic types. It goes really well against all of its fellow Dark types, so definitely worth investing in one. A cheap budget option, so if you need a Pokemon, try out Alolan Raticate, plus it's something different to bring in. Next we have Umbreon with an attack of 126, defense of 240, stamina of 216, resistance to Psychic, Dark, and Ghost, weak to Bug, Fairy, Fighting. So what you do notice is Last Resort is definitely going to be the move you want. Umbreon is the purest Dark type in the meta and it's the bulkiest, but you need to have Last Resort on there because that's going to hit everything with neutral damage. Dark Pulse will work, but Dark Pulse will not be the best moveset because it's not going to hit everything as hard as Last Resort, so definitely consider Umbreon for your team. It's a tank. Up next we have Tyranitar, a well-rounded Pokemon, a little squishy in the Great League. If you go to the weaknesses, you're going to notice it has a 4 times weakness to fighting, so get the heck out of there if you see a fighter, or you're pretty much dead. What's going to be the ideal moveset is Smackdown with Crunch, and maybe Stone Edge if you want to invest in it, but Smackdown and Crunch. I did try out the Bite and Crunch one, and then a little later I do try out the Smackdown variant, which I had a trade for. It was very rare to get. Most people who got them either were lucky enough to evolve one way back when, or during the annual, and PvP had just come out back around that time, so not too many people were giving too much thought to it. But yeah, if you have one of them, congrats, that's amazing. Luckily my friend was able to trade me again for a shiny Charizard, so I'm happy with it. I would need to change up the moveset, but it's definitely an option you can bring in that deletes a lot of things. So Smackdown Tyranitar, a fun anti-meta pick that you can definitely try out for this cup. Alrighty trainers, there you have it, the dark typing in the Nightmare Cup. Hopefully you did find some of this helpful and useful. If you did, please drop a like, subscribe, I really do appreciate it, and hopefully these get better as time goes on, and I'll work on trying to getting them out a lot sooner. Alrighty, thanks guys.